And a very good Monday night to you, boys and girls. What is up? It's your old pal right here, Black Avenger, a.k.a. the Black Azrael, Lee Sanders. And you, my good friends, are checking out an all-new, the RCWR show live, coming at you for this Monday night, May 19th, 2014. Just a couple of minutes past the 11 o'clock hour here on the East Coast. Very good Monday night to you all. For those of you that did not check us out for our RCWR show weekend edition, it's our internet radio version. I do hope your weekend had went to a very good start. I hope for you basketball fans you were able to enjoy the playoffs. We do have game one, I believe, of the Eastern Conference Finals on right now between OKC, San Antonio Spurs. Right now, Spurs are beating them 101 to 90. Last I checked, there's like about 6 minutes and some change left in the fourth quarter. That should be a very good game. Hey, just kick on back, relax. You can catch the highlights on Inside the NBA on TNT. All right, we're actually going to try to wrap this show up in about, you know how I like to go in depth on things. I'd like to have this wrap up in about maybe 35 minutes. So let's keep our fingers crossed and let's see what happens. If we can end it in that time frame, that's good, because then we all can kick on back and check out the highlights of what all we might have missed from tonight's game. Hey, as always, I want you guys to get involved and interact. Let me know what you had thought about tonight's episode of WWE Raw, as it was taped earlier in the day as Raw was out in London, the good old O2 Arena, famous arena at that. A lot of great acts have come through that arena. U2, Foo Fighters. I mean, my God, we could just go on and on. But WWE Raw had made a stop through there. Let me know what you thought about that episode tonight. You could do so a number of ways. Post those comments down below. And while you're at it, you can also find me out on Twitter at the RCWR Show or Facebook at Infinity One Productions. And we'll definitely get to what you all have to say in the later part of the show. If it's your first time checking us out, love to have you subscribe to us so you never miss out on all the great content we do for you here on a weekly basis, whether it's reviews, interviews, you name it, man. We do a little bit of everything. We got a little something for everybody, so check it out when you guys get a chance. And, while we're talking about wrestling, tonight's episode is being sponsored in part by our good friends at Big Sky Wrestling. Give them a follow on Twitter and Facebook at the same name. Also check out their website, Big Sky Wrestling. A couple of weeks, they're going to be rolling out some pretty good wrestling events. Going to have some great music, comedy. They got it all covered, man. Check them out when you get a chance, all right? And on that note, let's go ahead and jump right into it. I want to just tease you guys and let you know off the break, quick programming note. I received so much great feedback from you guys that had checked out our Christopher Daniels of TNA Wrestling, or formerly of TNA Wrestling. So many of y'all gave me great praise on the video interview that I did with him. And if you haven't checked it out yet, it's on our channel here in our guest exclusive section. Check it out. A couple of questions was like, who are you going to be chatting it up with next like that, face to face? I can tell you this, because this is WWE related. There is a young wrestler, formerly of the WWE roster, that is giving us a huge, huge interview. We got first dibs. That we're like the only ones that he's going to be talking to right now. And you'll actually be able to see that video come about later this week. I wish I could give you a little bit more details. I can't tell you. I will have a press release coming forth on our website over at InfinityOneProductions.com. Some of you all were like, hey, I can't find the website. That's Infinity with an E, the actual number one in there, InfinityOneProductions.com. But I just thought I'd give you guys a heads up right now before we dive into nothing but WWE Raw. So on that note, kick on back, relax. If you didn't watch Raw, enjoy this recap and review. All right, so of course, the big $1,000,000 question on you all's minds. What was going on with Daniel Bryan as the WWE World Heavyweight Champion? You saw the reports from WWE's website. If you were staying connected to what all was going on, you knew that this was going to be addressed on tonight's episode. And I want to tease you with that for now. we're going to get to that. For now, let's talk about how Raw had kicked off. Raw had pretty much began with the Wyatts, and I love the way that it opened up basically with Bray Wyatt cutting one hell of a promo talking about his origins as a kid and how when he was in school there was some teacher that basically kind of belittled him and the rest of the kids, and basically as he got older she got older, and basically she ended up in a retirement home and she's got all these weird voices in her head now and all that. And I couldn't help but have a little chuckle and say, I'm curious, just who exactly was this teacher? Did she have a name? At one point I actually kind of chuckled to myself and said, well, maybe it was Miss Keebler. I mean, zing, I don't know. I know that's corny as hell, but Stacy Keebler, for those of you that don't know who the hell I'm talking about, but she's not that old. I think we're being a little bit harsh right there. But still, I couldn't help but wonder just what was the name of the teacher that he was talking about. Maybe it might have been the same teacher that was kind of bad to The Rock when he was growing up. Remember, there was that whole Rock This Is Your Life special where Rock just pretty much roasted all the people that did him wrong over the years when he was growing up. I don't know. Maybe it might have been the same teacher that Bray Wyatt had. Who knows? Well, we saw John Cena come out, do a cheap attack from behind to Bray Wyatt, as apparently John Cena was going to be meeting up with Luke Harper in the main event match. And you know what? Let's go right to that main event match. That was actually, you know, every time Luke Harper, John Cena, they lock it up, God, man, it's just been a handful of times, but I tell you this, man, I love each time that these two guys hook up. And, I mean, the way it's kind of looking right now, I mean, if we were to just look into the crystal ball for a minute, you know, and just maybe look 6 months down the road or 8 months down the road, if you were to entertain the idea of breaking up the Wyatt family, right, and you're saying to yourself, who would be the most successful from that trio? Definitely Bray Wyatt. We've said it many times on this show. Future is very, very bright for that young man. He's going to be a future WWE World Heavyweight Champion, no doubt about it. Luke Harper, Eric Rowan, no doubt they are going to have just a great career as tag team champions. It's inevitable. You know they're going to get those tag belts eventually, and I think that's one of the main reasons why we're seeing the Usos kind of intertwining with John Cena to help fight that good fight with the Wyatt family and all that. I know some of you guys, you may be a little bit tired of this, but I actually, on the contrary, I actually am enjoying this whole mixture that's going on right now between them, because originally when it was just John Cena taking on the Wyatts, I mean, that was good leading up to WrestleMania, but to kind of have that same thing be repeated going to the next pay-per-view and possibly the next pay-per-view after that, I think fans' attention span might have been really tested and they might have been a little bit bored. So it's kind of nice that we have a couple of more ingredients of a supporting cast, if you will, coming into this. I have no problem with the Usos being in it. Besides, if everything plays out right, we're probably going to be hearing an announcement shortly of the Usos defending their tag titles against Harper and Rowan. At least that's the way I'm kind of perceiving it. That's the way I would book it. I don't know about you guys. Sign off on that. Let me know what you all think. But I love what's going on right here. And, you know, I love when John Cena and Luke Harper hook it up. And it just kind of goes back to what I was saying originally. Harper, Rowan, great careers as tag champions, but just separating the Wyatts and you just rank them from the top to bottom. Bray Wyatt would definitely have a very successful WWE career, singles career. Luke Harper, I think he would definitely come in at a close second place. I'm not so sure about Eric Rowan. I mean, he's good. He's got that nice big frame. He's got that speed. He's almost, you know, he almost reminds me of a new Kane, basically. You know, I mean, hell, man, if he was to get toned up just a little bit and everything, remember a couple of years back how they did that whole Kane versus Kane storyline or whatever like that? I dare say if they wanted to, and Kane needs a break, a.k.a. Glenn Jacobs, if he needed a break from doing the whole Kane gimmick for a hot minute, you know, they could kind of maybe go to him, but then at the same time, we've all seen Kane for so many years. You know, a lot of us kind of know when we see him, we know that walk and everything. So it's kind of like, would Harper be able to pull it off? But, I'm just saying, he reminds you of a young Kane. Let's bring it back home. I think y'all can be in agreement with that. But I'm having a hard time picturing him having a successful singles career. I'm not sure why that is. Maybe it's because the weeks that have been going by, we haven't really, actually, no, we haven't heard him cut a promo. He's just basically got the whole Sheep Max thing going on. It's really been about Bray Wyatt, Luke Harper. And hey, I have no problem with that, guys. No problem with that whatsoever. That main event match, by the way, we did not see a proper finish to it, unfortunately, as the numbers game. That's really what it was all about. Usos, they were at ringside. They tried to have John Cena's back, but Harper, Rowan, they were there as well. And those two respective tag teams, they were just going at it outside of the ring. We had saw Bray Wyatt. He was basically kind of able to take advantage of the distraction. He actually did a little bit of a cheap shot, if you will, to John Cena. Referee just really had a hard time keeping control of everything that was going on. He had no choice but to throw the match out. Bray Wyatt had actually helped out his family in getting the upper hand on the Usos before they focused their assault on John Cena, and they just beat that man down like there was no tomorrow. So if you're a John Cena naysayer, or if you're an anti-John Cena fan, it probably gave you euphoria to see that beloved hero loved by so many people, especially the Sith children, get beaten down into a pulp. But, I love the way things had ended as we saw Bray Wyatt, and to kind of follow up on how Raw began, him singing he's got the whole world song. And then he's singing it at the end as Luke Harper is coming in and he's just doing the 10 count. Because remember, Bray Wyatt, John Cena, they're going to be locking it up in a last man standing match coming up at the Payback pay-per-view / special event in about 2 weeks. Man, great finish. Had no problem with the way they had handled that. I thought that was a really good, strong way for them to end things for Raw. I like the strong opening, and I like how they did a strong closing. Good stuff right there. Now, let's talk about what all had happened in the middle there, as it was a little rocky at some points. Some might kind of deem it as a little bit boring. Hey, take it with a cup of tea. Overall, though, I thought it was a decent episode for an overseas show. And you know how it is when WWE goes over there to London, as it's been called Bizarro World, if you will. We saw Antonio Cesaro pick up a victory over the Great White, Sheamus. A little bit of help from Paul Heyman. And by the way, if you guys haven't seen the new Paul Heyman DVD trailer that's going to be coming out, the trailer for the Paul Heyman DVD that's going to be coming out in a couple of months, you need to check it out. It's actually on our Facebook page. It's like a minute plus long, but man, the trailer that they showed for Heyman's DVD, it looks freaking good. You got to see it to believe it, man. It looks really good. I am eagerly anticipating this. I haven't been this excited for a DVD, really, my God, really not since probably, I want to say, CM Punk, Best in the World. I mean, that was like the last time I really got excited for a DVD, like as far as the documentary thing goes. But then I guess I can say the next time after that, it had to do with the Ultimate Warrior documentary that was on the WWE network. I thought that was also pretty damn good, but you got to check it out, man. It's really good. Of course, that DVD is titled, Ladies and Gentlemen, My Name is Paul Heyman. Can't wait to check that bad boy out, and we will be reviewing that for you guys on a future episode here. But we saw Cesaro pick up the win, a little bit of help from Paul Heyman. I just continue to have to ask that question. What exactly is up with Cesaro and Paul Heyman? I'm just not really seeing that chemistry go down between the two, I mean, I appreciate Paul Heyman doing his thing and everything, but, at some point, we just got to see Cesaro break away from Paul Heyman, right? I guess the argument could be kind of made from Cesaro, man, you're always talking about Brock Lesnar conquering the streak, but you really should be there supporting me 100%, you really shouldn't be mentioning Brock Lesnar. We're hearing the rumblings that Cesaro is eventually supposed to lock it up with Brock Lesnar, but it's kind of like, okay, how exactly are we going to get there? Well, what are the proper seeds that's going to be planted to get there if that match is in fact going to happen? If it's not going to happen, I mean, hey, okay, I guess that's cool, but I'm really having a hard time buying into this partnership of Cesaro and Paul Heyman. It's just not like how it was with previous Paul Heyman guys. I don't know, maybe these two are still filling each other out, but you know what, man, Cesaro, he's a phenomenal piece of talent in the ring. I definitely feel the powers that be need to let these two lock it up for a little while longer. But hopefully, as time progresses, maybe we can kind of see these two guys outside of the ring, outside of WWE. I'd like to see something come about where maybe in a backstage segment, or maybe as these two guys are on the road or something, we can see their personalities clash and they're just basically kind of bouncing off of each other. That way we can really kind of buy into this union more. But you would think that with the victory that Cesaro picked up over Sheamus, Cesaro can now make the argument that he should be the number one contender to take on Sheamus for that United States Championship. And most importantly, could that match come as early as Payback? We should note that as it stands right now on this night, there has only been about 2 matches, maybe 3 at most, announced for that Payback pay-per-view. So a lot is still in the air right now as far as that pay-per-view special event goes. But more on that later. We saw the return of the Beat the Clock Challenge. As this go round, the winner with the best record would go on to face Bad News Barrett at the Payback pay-per-view for his Intercontinental Championship. Let's get those matches out the way for you guys. First off, we saw Big E Langston pick up a victory over Ryback, setting the Beat the Clock Challenge record at 5 minutes, 2 seconds. And you know what? I guess 3 minutes wasn't enough, man. My man Big E needed 5. I just love the irony in that, man. But yeah, 5 minutes, 2 seconds. He set the pace. Damn good matchup right there. Nice test of brute strength too, man. Nice test of brute strength. Fans kind of not really into this match, and I kind of want to pick up on that later on in the show because, there's, the crowd participation, sometimes it's a good thing, but then there's other times where it's kind of a bad thing. But I'll talk a little bit more about that later part of the show. Next, Beat the Clock challenge match, we saw Rob Van Dam pick up a victory over Alberto Del Rio. Was I like the only one, guys, that was watching this particular match and saying to myself, where the hell is Ricardo Rodriguez? Now, granted, yes, we know he's been doing commentating off and on Spanish announcers table, hooking up the whole WWE and Espanol. But I don't know about you guys. I still feel there's a little bit of unresolved issues, if you will, as far as his relationship with RVD, Alberto Del Rio. It was kind of like just one day Ricardo just disappeared and there was like no real fine finale, if you will, to him being a performer in some capacity on the main WWE programming. I mean, pretty much, if you really go back, guys, and you connect the dots, ever since he had that whole wellness policy violation last year, and remember, it was like from something that was very, very harmless. I have it on good authority that, and trust this for what it's worth, because I do have my own respected sources, and I don't like to name names. I will never do that. But you can trust what I'm telling you guys, because we always try to keep it honest, insightful, interactive. You see how many people I've had the luxury of interviewing over the past couple of years. So take this with honest sincerity here. Take this as the truth and nothing but the truth. But I have it on good authority from the people that I had spoke with that Ricardo wasn't taking any steroids or anything like that. Basically, there was some pill that he had taken, or some type of drug that he had taken, where he was trying to burn off fat like really quick, and there was like one key ingredient that was in there that was like a red flag. for the WWE when they tested him, and pretty much that's why he ended up getting suspended. But it was kind of like after he got suspended and he was off TV for a couple of months, it was like we never really, it really wasn't the same after that, is where I'm getting at. So I don't know. I just couldn't help but look at this particular match between RVD and ADR and just kind of be like, where the hell is Ricardo Rodriguez? And I've been saying it off and on the past couple of months. I so wish Ricardo would come back and be the advocate slash manager for Alberto Del Rio again, because let's be honest, Del Rio just has not been the same since that man was pulled away from him. I would really love to see ADR go back to basics and going back to his old roots when he was on SmackDown and everything. But more on that at a later date, man. We'll talk about that again at some point. Oh, by the way, RVD picking up the victory in that Beat the Clock challenge. He had set a new time of 4 minutes, 15 seconds. Our next Beat the Clock challenge, and our final one at that, it had to do with Dolph Ziggler taking on Mark Henry. And for you Dolph Ziggler fans, I know, could maybe this had been that opportunity, that golden moment that Dolph Ziggler needed there to kind of maybe shake up his career a little bit and maybe take it up a notch. No, unfortunately not. We had actually seen this match between Dolph Ziggler and Mark Henry end in a draw. Yes, a draw. And unfortunately, folks, your winner is none other than Rob Van Dam. But wait for it. Cheap shot from behind by I've got some bad news for you. Bad News Barrett. And I just love the promo that Bad News Barrett had cut on RVD at the end there, telling him, hey, good news, yeah, you won the right to face me for the Intercontinental Championship at Payback, but the bad news is, you're not getting the belt, was pretty much the message that Bad News Barrett had for him. But talk about the nice little spot that happened after Bad News, who got a really great reaction from the crowd, by the way. Talk about the great spot that went down after he was done cutting his promo. Guess what? They queued up the British Bulldogs music, like early British Bulldog music. And I know there were some people that were just like, what? Some people were actually pulling their hair out saying, he's not deserving of that music. What the hell, And come on, guys. Nobody, I don't think WWE is trying to insinuate that this man is like high up there with a British Bulldog. Or then again, some people could kind of maybe make the argument that Bad News Barrett is better than the British Bulldog. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm just looking at it from all sides. Does kind of make you wonder what would have happened had the British Bulldog and Bad News Barrett clashed. I guess the only way we would really know is if we loaded up our WWE 2K14 video game to find out. But it does kind of make you wonder. I had no problem with that spot. I thought it was great timing. I loved it. Besides, it was in London. Great timing, great place for it. While we're talking about London, it being a great time, great place and everything, three-man band. They brought back their Union Jack gimmick, sucking up to the London crowd and everything. And we actually saw the beautiful and the lovely Lana. Spell that backwards, and what do you get? As some of you all like to say to me every single week. We saw her basically bash America once again, bash London, England as well, basically doing her whole Rocky IV spill or whatever. And we saw Alexander Rusev come out. Now, if you were checking out our radio shows over the past couple of weeks, I brought up a very good argument, which was, what the hell is going on with Alexander Rusev beating the crap out of nothing but black people, past several weeks. And I was telling you guys how he went as far back as NXT, as he was beating the crap out of Xavier Woods, R-Truth for like a series of weeks, Kofi Kingston. And then when he came up the main roster, yeah, there was a quick squash with Zack Ryder, but the past like 6 to 8 weeks almost, he just kept beating the crap out of black people. Finally, we saw Alexander Rusev get out of that Donald Sterling I hate black people funk, and he beat the crap out of 2 white people and a half, Some could make the argument that Middle Easterns, and this is a true RCWR show fun fact, and I know this because of what I do on my day job, which involves a lot of data tracking research and all that. For a lot of studies, Middle Easterns are actually considered Caucasian, believe it or not. So learn something new right there. But I love the fact that they kind of switched it up and they basically had Alexander Rusev be a equals opportunity ass kicker. I like that. It's like, hey, he knows of no race. So I had no problem with that spot. But then again, I continue to ask the question, who is going to be the Sylvester Stallone? Hey, yo, Adrian, I need some more meatball marinara. Who's going to be that Rocky Balboa to take out Alexander Rusev? And I've been saying it week after week, off and on. I'll tell you, man, if it's not going to be... I wonder, has Sergeant Slaughter stepped up to the plate yet? I mean, we saw Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and, we kind of saw what almost happened with that. Has Sergeant Slaughter done anything with Alexander Rusev yet? Because if not, WWE, that's like the next best thing you guys got to do right there. You got to do Alexander Rusev, Sergeant Slaughter, let them collide. A couple of weeks after that, you let it be the All-American Bob Backlund crossing paths with Alexander Rusev. Hell, I wouldn't mind seeing Hulk Hogan, the real American, cross paths with Alexander Rusev. I mean, I would like to see this nice build-up, right? And while we're talking about real Americans, when the hell is Jack Swagger gonna cross paths with Alexander Rusev? Zeb Coulter talks this big game. I said this a couple of weeks ago, but I can't help but stress this. Zeb Coulter stresses this big, hot game, and we got to talk about him in a little bit, of people sneaking across the border and everything, and yet he has not stepped up to the plate and tried to take on Alexander Rusev. There's like some type of a conspiracy theory going on right here. The other thing that I need you guys to marinate on a bit here that really has not been explained to this day, and I'm hoping that eventually a Zeb Coulter, Jack Swagger, Lana, Alexander Rusev program will be forthcoming. One thing that hasn't been explained for me with this whole Alexander Rusev thing, he's Bulgarian, Lana is Russian, Alexander Rusev is fighting for Mother Russia. I'm kind of having a hard time connecting the dots right here. I mean, world-class history wasn't my greatest strength, although I love the Roman history period and all that. I love War of the Roses and all that. But if I'm not mistaken, that shouldn't quite match up. So maybe you could explain that to me, guys. Post your comments down below. Not much more else to talk about, but I do want to take a quick pause, let you guys know you're checking out the RCWR show live. Your host right here, Black Avenger Lee Sanders, coming to you for May 19th, 2014. Do thank you all for checking us out. If you're enjoying our recap and review of Raw so far, go out of your way. Give this piece a thumbs up. Leave those comments down below. You can also give this piece a Google Plus. You can Facebook it, retweet it. One of the many ways you can spread a good word about us, as this episode is brought to you in part by our good friends at Big Sky Wrestling. Make sure you show them some love and check them out. Links are going to be all in the About section of this episode. And quick programming note, no Tuesday night edition of our internet radio version of the RCWR show. We're actually going to be taking Tuesday off. Regular programming will resume this coming Thursday when we cover Fallout from TNA Impact Wrestling as seen on Spike TV, which, by the way, RCWR show is going to be going on the road coming up next month to cover what all is going to be happening 2 out of the 3 days that TNA is going to be out in New York City. That's right. We're going to be going to the Hammerstein Ballroom, and we're going to do our best to record as much as possible to share with you guys. Should be a really great trip. I'm looking forward to that. Not much more else to talk about with regards to tonight's Raw. Let's blaze through the rest of this stuff here. Fandango taking on R-Truth. Where the hell has R-Truth been? Maybe down NXT, who knows? But, you know, we didn't see this match happen because we ended up seeing the Chocobo from Final Fantasy, I'm sorry, I meant Summer Rae, come down to the ring, and she basically got into a cat fight with Layla. Got me on my knees, Layla. Dun-dun-dun. Little Eric Clapton for you guys. Yeah, we didn't see the match go down between the guys. That was pretty much it. Meow cat fight. Yeah, whatever. Evolution, the Shield, their little rivalry program continued. I don't know why some of you guys are like, my God, all we see each week is the Shield and Evolution. They hit this person hits that person, and that's pretty much it. Rinse, repeat. This is boring. Yet, you guys will be the same ones that will talk about how good a rivalry was, like maybe between the Freebirds and the Von Erichs, as they just kept going back at one another for weeks. You guys will say that was like magnifico. And yet you'll take a big old fat crap on what's been happening with the back and forth of the Shield and Evolution. My God, you just can't please anybody these days. Let me tell you something, man. This is like the best time to be a fan of the WWE product right now. You're getting a really nice mixture of variety. And you know what? I was kind of livid and a little disappointed when I had saw the Shield involved in, like, what was that, a 3-minute squash match at WrestleMania as they took out the New Age Outlaws and Kane, as it really just kind of felt to me like WWE really wasn't sure what to do with those guys on the grandest stage of them all, which should have been a really great, extravagant victory and build up for them. Just ended up being a 3-minute squash match, like a Divas match and all that. And to see where they are now, I don't see why you guys are complaining. I mean, I could kind of understand the argument to a certain extent, but like I said, you know, when you go back and you look at previous rivalries between stables over the years, I mean, what Evolution and the Shield is doing is no different than what happened in those respected eras. I think you guys just need to take a big, fat, mellow, chill pill and just enjoy this program for all that it's worth. I mean, seriously, because you got a little bit of everything. I mean, if you're a Batista fan, you got Batista in there. If you're a Randy Orton fan, you got your Randy Orton. If you're a hardcore Triple H fan, you got your Triple H. If you like Dean Ambrose, and I know a lot of you do, you got your Dean Ambrose. If you like Seth Rollins, ladies, I know how much y'all love Seth Rollins. You got that. If you love Roman Reigns, little kids, I want to be like him when I grow up. The women, I so want to bang him. The guys, I so got to look like him. And some guys, I want to bang him. You got a little bit of something for everybody with regards to these 6 guys that are locking it up each week. So I just don't understand why some of you all are kind of like, this is boring. I tell you what's kind of boring. Let me be for real with you. I will tell you what is kind of boring. Seeing a segment that just makes you go, what the hell was that about? Example, Usos with John Cena at one point were backstage talking with Renee Young, and apparently they tried to do some scene from a movie. It didn't really play out too well. It looked very weak. It looked very awkward. I asked the question if this was like a London chant thing they were doing, and I was told what exactly they were doing, what scene it was from and everything. I haven't even seen this movie, so that's why I can't even remember the name right now. I know it's probably going to be like 10 of you guys, blah, blah, blah. That was the name of the movie. Thank you in advance. But I thought that was pretty weak, quite honestly. I'll tell you something else that was kind of weak. Don't be a lemon, be a rosebud. Yes, Adam Rose. Renee Young tried to interview Adam Rose, and you know what? Look, I think his entourage was more entertaining than him. I thought the bunny, and the bunny, man, the bunny got some moves. I thought the bunny was more entertaining than him. I just, you know, and I know there's like a lot of you guys that are very passionate Leo Kruger, Adam Rose fans. You probably are going to be like, dislike, dislike, dislike. But, I mean, seriously, I watched the guy in NXT when he was still pushing Adam Rose and all that. It just rubbed me the wrong way then. And I'm going to continue to say it. It's rubbing me the wrong way now. I just can't really get behind it. And honestly, if I'm Adam Rose, I'm going to be enjoying the hell out of the pop that he received out in London tonight, because when he comes back to the States, Shit gets real. Ain't nobody going to be doing that in the U.S. Ain't nobody going to be doing all that cheering and everything. I mean, London is Bizarro World after all. We know this. And I just think that it's so funny that the guy's been up main WWE programming now for what will be like, what, 3 weeks going on 4 weeks. And yet that was like the biggest reaction that he's received since he's come up the main roster. I mean, that just kind of says a lot. And the fact that it was overseas, and we know how it is when the crowds react the way that they do overseas. WWE, they kind of, how it is. They kind of get this impression like, well, hey, maybe it's a new leap of faith. And then when they try to bring it back to the U.S., it kind of gets a little ice cold again. Speaking of Adam Rose, just something for you guys to marinate on and talk about. Maybe we can follow up on our weekend edition. But am I like the only one that is looking at this whole situation and saying to myself, where in the blue hell is Zack Ryder? Because Zack Ryder's got that whole woo, 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 it. He's got that whole kind of like a party vibe going on, rock stop, don't stop till you get enough type of vibe going on. Why isn't he part of this whole Adam Rose entourage? Because I gotta be brutally honest, those two guys would make a great tag team, I think. Why is he not involved with them yet? WWE, let's make something happen, man. Zack Ryder fans are still looking for this guy on WWE programming every single week. Let's make it happen, please. Thank you. Other than that, there's really not that much else to talk about with regards to, let me think for a second. We didn't quite talk about the Batista versus Seth Rollins match. That was a pretty solid matchup, as Triple H had announced himself as the special announcer, and Randy Orton was announced as the special bell keeper. Well, Seth Rollins, he countered right back and he said, well, hey, let me introduce to you my two special commentators, which was Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns. And man, to hear Roman Reigns on the mic and he's just interacting with Cole, JBL, and crew, I mean, he's coming along very nicely as far as his mic skills go. But I mean, I always get like excited when Dean Ambrose is there on the microphone and he's doing this thing at the commentating's booth. I mean, dude, what a deadly combination it would be, just marinating on it here, but what a deadly combination it would be to see Dean Ambrose and CM Punk commentating like a whole episode of SmackDown. That would like be freaking badass. Would you agree or disagree? I mean, honestly, I just think that would be awesome. But we had ended up, I'm trying to think how the match had ended between Seth Rollins and Batista. If I'm not mistaken, the referee had no choice but to throw the match out because both teams, the necessary parties, they all just started getting into it. I remember Triple H, he had actually hit Seth Rollins, and the referee had saw it, and I believe he threw the match out and awarded the victory to Seth via DQ. But not before Batista was able to get in a couple of licks. But we saw Shield members regroup. They came like this close to power bombing Big Dave Batista, but he managed to get out of the ring in time. But that pretty much had ended things right there as far as the Shield Evolution rivalry goes, at least for this week. Meat and potato of tonight's episode had to do with Daniel Bryan's WWE World Heavyweight Championship. I love how Stephanie McMahon came out. God, she can do that little yes chant any day of the week. So sexy. It just makes you wonder, that's all as far as I'm going to say with regards to that. But I just think she looks so hot coming out doing that whole yes thing. And she was in a skirt, nonetheless. How about that? But she addressed the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and she teased the crowd in a big way. She said, I could just strip Daniel Bryan of his championships and award them maybe to Kane. That got a bad reaction from the crowd. Kind of follows up on what we were kind of talking about over the weekend, as we have an excerpt up saying why Kane would be a good pick as the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. We brought up a very good argument on there. If you haven't seen it, check it out. We'll probably put a link somewhere as you're checking this out here. But she said, or I could give it to Bad News Barry. And the crowd popped for that. She said, yeah, I know you guys probably would love that. Look at you guys. I worked you guys over big time. I mean, she admitted she played them over with that one. Then she pulled something that we haven't seen, God, since the days of Eric Bischoff as the Raw General Manager, when she said she could maybe give the championships to Triple H. We all know what had happened with that World Heavyweight Championship on that one infamous episode of Raw involving Eric Bischoff. Y'all remember that, right? If not, you too young, man. You need to go do some YouTube or Daily Motion to know what we're talking about. But instead, she announced that Daniel Bryan was not going to be stripped of his championship. Instead, what was going to be happening, folks, was she put a challenge out there to Daniel Bryan, who has successfully recovered from his neck surgery. Somebody had asked the question, how did Daniel Bryan get injured? If you really have to ask that, to kind of go Sean Connery, good God, man, where have you been? Wrestling sites, Google search is your best friend. I'm not going to take 10 minutes to tell you what all happened. You can pretty much get caught up to speed in that respected fashion that we suggested. But basically, Stephanie McMahon, she gave Daniel Bryan the next episode of WWE Raw that's coming up to be on that episode and do the right thing, as she's describing it, and hand over his WWE World Heavyweight Championship. So, yeah, Daniel Bryan will be back on Raw next week. I do not expect him to get physical. I don't expect him to get physical for quite a good minute. But I can tell you guys this much. The way things are looking right now, if I were to give an early preview of what could possibly come about, I'm just going to jump the gun right here because we're not going to really be able to talk about it in depth on Tuesday. But real quickly, I think the way things are probably going to end up, we may see Stephanie McMahon, Daniel Bryan. Daniel's like, no, I can't cough up the championship. I just can't do it. And I can see some type of a scenario playing out where maybe Stephanie McMahon, she tells Daniel Bryan, look, you're not leaving me really with any choice. Either you cough up the championship or I'm just going to strip you of it. Either way, I'm going to get it. And I could see some type of a scenario play out where maybe, just maybe, and this is a long shot, but if I was booking this right, I would actually have the return of Vince McMahon. And I would have Vince McMahon show up and basically say, look, didn't mean to do this, but you have been dodging my phone calls. You didn't get my emails throughout the week when I tried to touch bases with you initially. But, I got some news that comes from the board of directors. They don't want to see Daniel Bryan stripped of the championship right now. Given everything that he's been through, they want to give him the benefit of the doubt. And I could see some type of a legitimate scenario playing out. This is freestyle thinking right here, where maybe Vince McMahon informed Stephanie that the board of directors have decided that there's going to be some type of a tournament that will take place where Daniel Bryan will maybe choose the top 3 people or 4 people that he wants to represent him temporarily as the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. And, they'll take his place, they'll defend the title, and then when Daniel Bryan comes back, Daniel Bryan will then have to defend that championship against them in maybe a best 2 out of 3 fall matches, Iron Man match, something of that nature. I mean, when was the last time we saw an Iron Man match, But I could see some type of a scenario playing out like that. If they don't go that route, the only other thing I could think of is maybe Daniel Bryan does get stripped of the championship, but he has a guaranteed rematch for the championship anytime, any place when he comes back fully recovered. I can see maybe something like that coming about, but I'm really hoping that it kind of goes in the direction of the return of Vince McMahon, because after all, since like maybe fall of last year, we kept hearing the rumblings that Vince McMahon was scheduled to come back at any moment so that he can kind of get into this whole program with Stephanie and Triple H, who are kind of acting as if he's dead and he doesn't exist. Because remember, you got Stephanie calling herself the principal owner of the WWE. Nothing wrong with Triple H's title. That's always been the same. But that whole thing with Stephanie, and it's kind of like, well, what's going on with Vince McMahon over here? You know, sign off. What do you guys think about that? If you have your own unique idea of maybe what could be coming about from next week's Raw with regards to the championship scene, sound off. Let me know. Overall tonight, a little bit of hit and miss in the middle for WWE Raw. Um, I think the strong points would definitely have to be the whole championship situation being addressed. Uh, Definitely Seth Rollins taking on Batista. That was a very solid matchup. John Cena taking on Luke Harper. Another solid matchup right there. Um, Pretty much Cesaro, Sheamus, I will give that a respected nod. But, I mean, it was pretty much it. Scale of 1 to 10, I'd give this week's episode 7 out of 10. I'm being very modest probably for some of you guys. London crowd, let me say this real quick. You know, I love when a crowd is trying to get into it because it gives you energy when you're watching at home, and it kind of makes you feel invested into the product even more. But then there's the fans that just like, it's kind of like about them. And that's kind of what I had noticed tonight with this episode. I mean, I love the London crowd and everything, but some of their spots where they were chanting and it was like unneeded. The Bray Wyatt chants, singing the whole song during the Cesaro versus Sheamus match, and that was a damn good match. That wasn't a boring match in any way. Furthermore, chanting the commentators' names one by one, I mean, come on. And then you had the main event match between Luke Harper, John Cena. Bray Wyatt songs were being chanted, you know, and it's, I don't know. I just thought it was kind of, I guess, overkill would be the best way I could describe it. Just seemed like a lot of overkill at many times, and I just wish some of these fans would just kind of scale back a little bit and watch some of the good action that's happening. Almost missed one more match too. I got to make sure I give you guys a note about this. We saw Alicia Fox pick up a victory over the beautiful and the lovely Paige. No doubt, Alicia Fox, Stone Cold Alicia Fox. She's probably gonna put herself in a nice position now, if you're thinking about it, just the way from that whole booking standpoint, the way the pay-per-view is shaping up. Paige is probably going to have to defend that championship now against Stone Cold Alicia Fox. And I got to tell you guys, there was a nice spot after the match was all said and over where Alicia Fox, she got wet. She got really wet big time with excitement. Yeah, she got wet as a result of pouring a cup of Coke over her body. You dirty pervs. What did you think I was talking about? But damn, Alicia Fox, Foxy lady. That is one nice, sexy piece of chocolate. And I usually do not care particularly that much for dark chocolate. I personally prefer vanilla, but hey, nice dark chocolate, man. But yeah, it looks like those two girls are going to be locking it up right there. I can't wait to see that. All right, let's get to what you guys have to say. I want to pull up your comments right here. We were only supposed to do like 35 minutes. That's why I tell you guys, we just will see how this goes, you know. But it's all good. I love you guys. I don't mind it when we go into a little OT. As long as you all are having fun, I'm definitely having fun over here. But let's pull up you guys' comments. We'll take it from the top and we'll work our way to the bottom. And one more time, quick programming note, not going to be a Tuesday night internet radio version edition of the RCWR show. We are going to be taking that night off, but regular programming will resume this coming Thursday night right here on YouTube as we cover Fallout from TNA as seen on Spike TV. See what you guys are saying right here on Twitter. Razor, you can bet for sure it'll be Swagger versus Adam Rose payback. Yeah, there was some type of a mention right there amongst that whole Adam Rose segment where Renee Young, Zeb Coulter challenged Adam Rose to a match. Yeah, right. That's like so not happening. I agree, Razor. It's probably going to be Swagger versus Adam Rose at payback most likely. Let's see what you guys got to say as far as comments go here on YouTube. Reggie, what's up, Reggie? Not sure what Bryan will do next week, but they should strip him. Not trying to be a Daniel hater, but if a champion is out for a long time, the title should be vacant. Have a tournament or something like that. What it will take to let WWE that to know that no one cares about Cena. Seeing all those cameras up and people cheering Bray makes people realize Bray is more over than Cena. Bray character is fresh and 10 times better than Cena. Also, Mr. Sanders, did you hear that Vince lost over $300 million in one day? Did I hear about it? Brother, where are you on Saturdays? Because on our Saturday radio version of the RCWR show, which you can catch at 9 p.m. Eastern over at blogtalkradio.com, we actually go in depth about all this. And for those of you that did not listen to this past Saturday's episode, me and the beautiful Tammy, we actually went in depth, and we'll probably upload that excerpt maybe later on tonight or in the wee hours of this morning. We actually had a great excerpt about that loss, and we actually went over ideas for WWE kind of regaining their composure financially and all that. So, but yeah, if you guys didn't check that out, we'll actually upload it on here for y'all in just a little bit. And it was actually $350 million. Not 300, it was $350 million. And as a result of that, Vince McMahon pretty much lost a third of his fortune. He is no longer a billionaire. I repeat, Vince McMahon is no longer a billionaire as a result. United Gamer, Lee, I think you are overthinking. Pause right there, Gamer. I never overthink. What I do for you guys here every single week is live, it's unscripted, and it's freestyle. You tell me purple, and I say grapes, freeze pops, Kool-Aid, the Joker, freestyle like that. That's just how I roll. But in either case, Alexander Rusev and him fighting for the motherland, because I don't think the WWE know the differences. Good question on who's going to be the guys who puts an end to him. And I was thinking Daniel Bryan down the road, but who knows? John Cena, to be continued. I can't. McLovin, I wish I could say that on the air, but I don't need any 5-year-olds going, Mommy, why? What does that mean? Alan, but would you have the Wyatts win the belts? Are you talking about the tag belts? Be more specific, my friend. Franco, future DVD I look forward to is a Daniel Bryan DVD, also a Dean Ambrose DVD. Rave Monster, love your videos, man. Awesome live stream. Thank you, bro. Appreciate that. Hope the stream has been good for you guys tonight, because usually we have the stream get started up like 90 minutes early. I didn't actually turn on the stream probably not like until about maybe 15 minutes before Raw came on. So hopefully the video presentation is okay. Sometimes it gets a little fuzzy, but for the most part it's nice and crystal clear. Like hopefully the way it's being presented to you right now. Yeah. See what else we got here. Star-Lord, I just saw you say something. Shield and Evolution, sort of best thing going on right now. Aisha said Raw was a 9 out of 10 tonight, folks. Jamie, Raw was good tonight. Bray Wyatt just gets better and better in his promos and wrestling. I don't know how he does it, but this guy's promos are up there with The Undertaker's promos. Luke Harper is also amazing in the ring. He reminds me of Mankind. I have to say, Paul Heyman going on again about The Undertaker's streak is really annoying now. Let it go. I must ask Paul, what has your client done lately? Nothing. I was surprised that Paige didn't get the win tonight since she was in London, England. The ending to the show was done very well as it sets the stage for the last man standing match. No doubt about that, my friend. Max Mann, Shield versus Evolution at Payback will be insane. Can't wait for it. Daniel Bryan will drop kick Triple H, then run up the ramp, say no to be stripped of and hold the title hostage. That's my prediction. When will Dolph Ziggler get a major push? I know he will leave WWE. They just need to let him go to be great again. Very solid show tonight and very entertaining. All right, good words right there. Christo, what's up, Christo? Laugh out loud or Lama, whatever Rusev constantly attacking black guys. I had the same thoughts. When is this going to end? My favorite spot was Adam Rose calling out Zebby Baby. And what else we got right here? Thomas Raw was good, but not that good. It entertained what it was supposed to do in my mind. Interesting right there. I'll read about two more comments from you guys here. Let's see. What else we got? I'm trying to just skim through this here. I guess we can go with Thomas. Luke Harper is way underrated. Honestly, he is big, mean, scary looking, a great heel in the making, and can really put on a great match. Plus, he has a charisma on the mic that is often overlooked. Look to the future. If he ever gets a better gimmick other than a follower, mark my words, Lee. All right. I respect that. I respect that. What else we got right here? Joker. What's up, Joker? Really pumped for the Shield versus Evolution. No holds barred elimination match. I thought they weren't going to put a stipulation on this match, but I'm glad they did so. I've heard rumors that Daniel Bryan was supposed to defend his title at Payback against Kane in a Buried Alive match, but plans changed because of the neck surgery. Yeah, that's what we're hearing. Better to go with the facts, though. And that's pretty much going to do it for now. Hey, if I didn't get to you all's comments, babies, have no fear and stay cool, daddy-o. I'm going to get to your comments. If not sometime tonight, I will definitely get to you all's comments sometime throughout the day. And one more time, we have a very cool, kick-ass exclusive interview. It'll be a face-to-face interview just like we did with Christopher Daniels, formerly of TNA Wrestling. You all will be able to see later this week, as we're going to be chatting with somebody that was working in the WWE. This is a young cat. I wish I could give you more hints, but y'all will just have to stay tuned. If you're following us on Twitter, Facebook, you'll be able to hear the news that way. We'll definitely issue a press release on our website over at InfinityOneProductions.com, and that's Infinity with an E, the actual number 1 thrown in there. Do you love us? How much do you love us? Do you love us a lot? Do you like us a lot? Do you love us? Go that extra step. Go on over to our website at InfinityOneProductions.com. Grab yourself a RCWR Show t-shirt. Got all the sizes hooked up for you, man. If you don't see the size that you need, you can actually hit the Contact Us tab. Send us a message. We'll hook you up. We'll ship pretty much anywhere. Represent, though, man. Grab yourself a nice RCWR Show t-shirt. We got some new designs that's going to be coming out very soon. But, man, if you love us, you support us, represent, man. We even accept donations. Head on over to Infinity One Productions. We'll take donations as low as $1. But show your support. Head on over there. And thank you very much in advance. Once again, if you enjoyed this piece, please give it a thumbs up. Leave those comments down below. Google Plus this, Facebook it, retweet it. One of the many ways you can spread a good word about our content. And folks, that is pretty much going to do it. Thank you all so much for interacting with us tonight. Till I see and hear from you guys next go round, which will be this Thursday. And let me pull up the calendar right here. That'll be Thursday, May 22nd. At 11 p.m. Eastern for Impact Showdown, episode 104, covering Fallout from TNA Impact Wrestling. I'm the one and only Black Avenger, Lee Sanders, wishing all y'all to be safe and be kind to one another. I will see you next go round. Everybody, take care.